Today we are going to start lesson 5 on unit 1. Actually, this lesson is about applications on rational numbers. Applications on rational numbers. Okay. The first point in this lesson, actually, I want to know how to get the distance between two numbers. I mean that if there are two numbers like 2 and 5, and I want to know the distance between these two numbers. Actually, on the number line, if this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so the distance between 2 and 5, it's from this number 2 to this number 5. Now count the numbers between them. 1, distance 2, then 3, right?
Yeah.
This one, and this one. So actually, we can get the distance between the two numbers by subtract one of the two numbers from the other. Like in this case, it will be 5 minus 2 equal 3. That's correct, it's a 3. So the distance between 5 and 2, or 2 and 5, are 3 units. But 1 second. Here you can say that, Mr. Okay, so you just subtract 2 out of 5. But if I'm going to solve it like this, it's 2 minus 5, not 5 minus 2. So it will equal -3. Okay, but actually, there is no distance and negative, right? The distance always is a positive. So in this case, guys, we have to know that the distance between two numbers, x and y, is x minus y or y minus x, but the absolute value of the result, so that it will be positive always, because there is no negative distance. Okay, so if I want to know the distance between 2 and 5, it will be the absolute value of 2 minus 5 or absolute value of 5 minus 2. Both are correct, because in the two cases it will equal +3, right? Here 2 minus 5, it's a -3. Absolute value of -3 is 3. And here 5 minus 2, directly 3. So if there are two numbers like x and y.
ينفع الحاجة؟
Yes.
طب ما هو اصلا يا مستر، ما هو لما احط الفاليو في absolute بين absolute value، ما هو كده كده اصلا بيحسب المسافة بين الفاليو ده والصفر، فهو كده كده اصلا يعني انا برضو بحسب مسافة هنا، عشان كده هو بوزيتيف.
Exactly. Okay, it will be always positive, as I said, because there is no negative distance. So if there are two numbers like x and y, I want to get the distance between them, never mind. Okay, it will be x minus y or y minus x. No difference, because in the two cases it's of absolute value. So it will be positive always. So now, if I want to get the distance between 2 and 5, again, it will be 2 minus 5 as absolute value, or 5 minus 2. So in the two cases, it will equal, in this one, absolute value of -3, which is equal 3. And here, absolute value of 3, which is also equal 3. Okay, then if I want to get the distance between -2 and 5, it will be -2 minus 5, or 5 minus -2. So absolute value of -7, which means 7. And here also absolute value of 5. This one is minus negatives plus 2.
يعني كل حاجة هنعملها ماينس بعض.
Okay.
بين التو brackets دول عشان يطلعوا لنا بوزيتيف.
يبقى absolute value of the distance علشان تبقى positive. Exactly. Okay. طيب 1 second. If I want to get the distance between -1 and -5, so it will be like that, the first number minus the second number. Or otherwise, the second number minus the first number. So in this case, -1 minus -5 means a plus. So -1 plus 5, it will equal 4. And here, -5 minus -1 plus 1. So -5 plus 1 means absolute value of -4, which is also
How
equal.
the, how -1 didn't become 1? There is
The absolute
that's
value for the final result, not for all the numbers. Okay? The absolute value only for the final result, not to all the numbers. I mean that never change your signs inside here. I mean that after you finalize the process, if it will equal -4, then it will equal 4. Just change the sign of the final result, not all numbers. Okay? Okay. If there's a number like 3 and another number like 7, and I want to get the number which is lying at the middle way between them, I mean to that the number on the middle between 3 and 7, or in other words, the number at half distance between 3 and 7. So simply, if there is a number line like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and also 8, no problem. So I want to know the number which
Mr. What?
lies on the middle exactly between 3 and 7. So this one is 3, this
Mister,
one is 7.
Mister, you forget to put 6.
6. Okay, yes, sorry. 5, 6, 7, and this one is 8. So here, 3 and 7. So this is the next number. Okay, guys. So what do you think? What will be the number on the middle between these two numbers? Actually, to know the number between these two numbers, there is one distance here, 2, 3, 4, right? So this means which number in the middle between 3 and 7? 2 units on the left, 2 units on the right. The distance here equal to the distance here. So this number on the middle exactly, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Are we correct? It's 5,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this number lies on the middle between these two numbers, or lies at half distance between these two numbers, or lies at half way between 3 and 7. Correct? All these words are the same meaning, right? Okay, guys?
Okay.
Okay, so again, this question one more time and solve that one using the following rules. Find the number which lies between 3 and 7 on the middle distance between them, or on the halfway between 3 and 7. Okay, actually, there are two rules to solve this question.
Smaller with greater.
Middle number will equal, there are two options, smaller number and greater number. If I'm going to use the smaller one, then the rule will become the smaller plus half absolute value of the distance between the numbers. If I'm going to use the greater number, then minus half absolute value of the distance between the two numbers. I'm going to explain the two rules. Don't worry. So now, if I will use the first one, smaller plus half absolute value of the distance. Okay. We just said that the number which lies on the middle, okay, by using the number line, we found that it's a 5, right? Okay, let's check this rule. Smaller, which one is the smaller number, 3 or 7? Of course, the 3.
3.
Plus half. Absolute value of the distance. Distance equals what? 7 minus 3, which is equal 4. And don't forget to write down the absolute value. So half times 4. So now it will equal 3 plus half times 4 means 4 over 2, which means 2. So 3 plus 2 equal 5. So we are correct, right?
Mr. أنا
Yes.
I didn't understand يعني I understood 7 minus 4 and 4 minus 7, but I didn't understand the what was after it.
You mean that rule?
Mister, can you read it? Can you say it?
Again,
Because
again, guys. Again,
I
I'm
didn't-
going to
يا
explain it
مستر
again.
ينفع حضرتك تعملها بالفراكشن؟
Again, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Okay, concentrate well.
easier, I think.
The general rules for the middle or the midpoint will equal smaller plus half absolute value of the distance, or it will equal greater minus half absolute value of the distance. So there are two rules, okay? One from the side of the smaller and one from the side of the greater.
Okay, how what's the distance?
So now listen for that simple example. I want to get the number on the middle distance between 7 and 3. Okay. 1 second, guys. Here, I want to tell you about something. Here we wrote in the rule 1 over 2 because we want to get the number and the half distance between 7 and 3. Okay. So now I will go for the smaller one first. Which one is the smaller number here, 3 or 7? Of course, the 3. Plus half times the distance, 7 and the 3. So it's a 7 minus 3, which is equal 4. So times 4. Now it will equal 3 plus 1 over 2 times 4. Actually, it's 1 over 2 times 4 like that, which is 4 over 1 because it's a whole number. So it will equal 4 over 2, right?
Yes.
So now 3 plus 4 over 2 means 2. So the number is 5. If we are going to use the other rule, we said that the two numbers are 3 and 7. Okay, so greater. Which one is the greater? It's a 7, of course.
How we get the number
Minus.
4?
Half. Absolute value of the distance. Distance is 7 minus 3, or even 3 minus 7. It will equal the absolute value of -4, which is equal also 4. So half times 4. So it will equal 7 minus half times 4. We said that it will equal
مستر use 4.
Hmm?
I always use 4 beside the 1 over 2.
I think the greater
It's the
when
distance.
the
It's
greater
the
mark
distance. 4
easier.
is the distance. Okay?
يعني مستر لازم نستخدم بس 4 وهاف بس.
1 second. I will answer your question now. 1 second. So now 7 minus 2 equal 5. It's the same number. And the middle from the side of the greater, like the middle from the side of the smaller. Okay?
Teacher, if you want the fourth of the distance, then I will only change half to fourth.
Exactly. Okay? So don't worry, guys. I'm going to solve all the examples which will make you understand the lesson. Don't worry. So on the previous example, we said that we want to get the distance between, sorry, the number which lies on the middle or on the half way or half like that way between 3 and 7. So we said that there are two rules. One from the side of the greater, one from the side of the smaller. So the first one from the side of the smaller is smaller plus.
Sir,
want to
why
number
minus? Why we
at the
are
half distance.
7
Sorry?
3 minus 7? Why?
Because we want to get the distance between the two numbers, 3 minus 7 or 7 minus 3. This will
Yeah,
be the distance.
Why exactly 3? Not another.
This number is given in the example. It's not a specific numbers. It's the numbers which are given in the example. Okay?
Mean another number we can use another.
Of course, yes. It's a rule. So we can apply it on all numbers.
But I didn't understand why we are using 3 and another numbers. How we will get
We will
the
solve
number.
the next examples, okay? Try to be more patient, okay? So that you can understand. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, the number on the middle way between 3 and 7. So we said that there is one rule from the side of the smaller. It will be smaller plus half absolute value of the distance. And here we wrote half because we want to get the number on the halfway or the middle way. Or otherwise, we can get the number from the side of the greater. So it will be greater minus also half absolute value of the distance. The absolute value of the distance will equal 7 minus 3, which is equal 4. So now to answer the question from the side of the smaller, smaller plus smaller, of course, it's 3 plus 1/2 times the distance, 4. So it will equal 3 plus 2, which means 5. If we want to get it from the side of the greater, then write down the greater. It's a 7 minus 1/2. Absolute value of the distance, we said that it's 4. So it will be 7 minus 2, so 5. Okay? Actually, guys, the two rules gave us, okay, the same number. You know why? Because actually, if this one is 3, and this one is 7, and here 4, and 5, and 6, and then 7, so the number on the middle between them is 5. From the side of the smaller, it's 5. From the side of the greater, also 5, because it's in the middle. So it doesn't matter from which side, right?
Right.
Teacher, but it won't
Okay.
matter if it was
Great.
the fourth of the distance. It will be like, it will be
If there is
different.
another question,
مستر
another
هو احنا ليه لغاية دلوقتي ما
except
خدناش
half.
diffraction؟
I'm just giving a simple examples in the beginning, okay? Then we will solve that questions using the fractions, of course, okay?
Okay.
The next part, if I want to get the number which lies at 1/3, the distance between number like 1 and another number like 7. Number 1 from the greater, and number 2 from the smaller.
بصراحة يا مستر أنا كنت عاوز أخش على الجبر يا مستر.
هم؟
أنا كنت عاوز أخش على الجبر عشان هو سهل. بس حضرتك قلت حضرتك عاوز تعمل إكزام على طول.
After we finish that, we will discuss about all this, okay? طيب يبقى Now, from the side of the greater, it will be the greater minus 1/3, because here we want to get the number which lies at 1/3 distance, then absolute value of the distance. The greater number is 1 or 7, actually 7. So 7 minus 1/3 times the absolute value of the distance. The distance here between these two numbers, it's 1 minus 7 as absolute value, which is equal 6, or even 7 minus 1. We said that it's the same, also equal 6. So times 6. Now 7 minus 2, it will equal 5. So that one, the first requirement from the side of the greater. But from the side of the smaller, we have to use the second rule, smaller plus 1/3 absolute value of the distance. The smaller number, 1 or 7, actually 1. So 1 plus 1/3 times distance, we said that it's a 6. So 1 plus 2, which is equal 3. That's it. Okay, the next question. Find the rational number in halfway between 2/5 and 3/7. Here in this question, guys, it's halfway, so no need to mention from which side, because as I said, okay, from the side of the greater or the side of the smaller, it will be the same number in case of half distance. So here I have the two options. I can use the smaller or the greater. So if it will be like that, smaller plus 1/2 absolute value of the distance. Which one is the smaller or which one is the greater? Actually, we have to unify the two denominators. So here, the two numbers, the first one with the denominator 5 and the second one denominator 7. Just to multiply the two denominators, so the denominators will become 35. Then now, 35, the denominator of the two numbers, get the numerators. 2 times 7, 14. 5 times 3, 15. Now I think it's very clear which one is greater or which one is the smaller. So the smaller, of course, will be 14/35 plus 1/2 or half. Absolute value of the distance. Absolute value of the distance will be 15/35 minus 14/35. So now it will equal that term 14/35 plus half times, subtract these two fractions, it will equal 15 minus 14 means 1/35. Then now 14/35 again plus 1 times 1 means 1 plus 2 times 35 means 70. Unify these two denominators, the 35 and 70. In this case, guys, it will be always the second denominator. So the two denominators will be 70. To get the numerator, okay? So that one, 70, it was multiplied by 2 because it was 35, so 28. And this one is already over 70, so 1. So now it will equal 29/70. That's it. So that is the required number which lies on the middle distance between 2/5 and 3/7. Okay, another question like this one exactly. Find the rational number also on the halfway. The same question. Between 5/6 and 3/8. Okay, so first step, unify the two denominators of the two numbers. It's 5/6 and 3/8. So the two denominators will be 48. We got that one by multiplying the two denominators. 6 times 8. Okay, now get the numerators. First denominator, 5 times 8, 40. 6 times 3, 18. Which one is the
Mister,
greater?
what's 5 over 6 and 3 over 8? What is that?
So it's the two given numbers.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
The two given numbers. We want to get the number which lies between them on the middle distance exactly. Between 5 over 6 and the 3 over 8. So
Okay.
now the two numbers becomes 40 over 48 and 18 over 48. Okay. So this time I'm going to use the rule from the greater. No problem. Because we said that if it's on the half distance, so the two are the same exactly. So greater minus 1 over 2, absolute value of the distance. Greater, of course, of this one. 40 over 48 minus half times absolute value of the distance, which is 40 over 48 minus 18 over 48. So now it will equal 40 over 48 minus half times, subtract 40 minus 18, it's 22 over 48. So now, again, 40 over 48 minus 1 times 22, it's 22 over 2 times 48, it's 96. Now again, unify the two denominators. We said that it will be the second one, so the two denominators will be 96. To get the numerators, 96 divided by 48 equal 2 times 40, 80. And this one already over 96, so it's a 22. So my number will equal 80 minus 22, it's 50.
Mister, why we multiplied the 40? Why we multiplied 40?
Because the denominator was multiplied by 2, it was 48. Now it becomes a 96, so it was multiplied by 2. So that we have to multiply also the numerator by 2. Correct?
Means all of it you had multiplied it?
I multiplied that one so that we can unify the two denominators. It's 48 and 96. We said that always the denominator will be the second one, the greater. So the denominator becomes 96. So now I divided the denominator, which is 96, by 48. Actually, it becomes 2. So 2 times this numerator, 40. So 2 times 40, 80. If I will repeat it on the second one, 96 divided by 96 equal 1 times 22, it will equal 22. That's why I didn't change the numerator of the second one. Okay? Then after subtraction, 80 minus 22, it will be 58 over 96. Also, in this case, we can simplify. Okay, this number, it's 58 over 96, like that, 58 over 96. If I will divide the two numbers by 2, it will equal 29 over 48. That's it. So this is the number. Okay? Okay, the next question. Find the rational number lies at 1/4. Between -1 over 6 and -1 over 3. So in this question, okay, it's required to get the number which lies at 1/4 of the distance between these two numbers from the side of the smaller. From side of smaller. Okay, 1/4 means, of course, 1 over 4, right? So now, the first step, as usual, unify the two denominators, -1 over 6 and -1 over 3. So the two denominators will be 18. How did I got 18? I just multiply 3 and 6. Then numerators, to get the numerator, just to multiply 1 times 3 equal 3, and 6 times 1 equal 6. And don't forget that they are negative numbers like that. Okay, now, which one is the smaller and which one is the greater? And take care, they are negative numbers. So, of course, the smaller is -6/18. Correct? So this is the smaller. Now, the rule. We want to get the number from the side of the smaller. So smaller plus at 1/4. So 1/4. Absolute value of the distance. So smaller, we said that it's a -6/18 plus 1/4 distance. Okay.
Mister, how we can get the distance?
Now I will show you. Where is the two numbers? This one and this one. So the distance means the difference between them. So just to subtract, okay, -6/18 minus -3/18. Correct?
مستر
Oh,
مستر
Yes.
هو المفروض السمولر يبقى نيجاتيف 3 over 18.
It's a negative number.
But
Negative
Mr.
number,
How?
guys. The negative number, okay, whenever its number becomes greater, the value becomes smaller. We said that -6 is smaller than -1, right or no, or wrong?
Yeah.
So that -6 is smaller than -3/18, right?
Yes.
So now it will be
Oh.
-6/18 plus 1/4 times. Here, it's a -6 minus -3, so plus. -6 plus 3 means -3/18. But take care. This one is absolute value, right? So times absolute value of this one. So this negative, we have to remove it, okay? Because it will become a negative.
حضرتك هنا عامل براكت عادي في هنا نيجاتيف 6 over 18 plus 1 over 4 bracket negative 6.
No, it's absolute value. I meant absolute value, okay?
Okay.
So
Mister,
now,
it have to be
-6 over
-5 over 8.
plus, we will
Yeah.
check 1/4, okay? Then times 3/18 as a positive value. So now, -6/18 plus 1 times 3 equal 3. 4 times 18, it's a 72. What will be the next step? Unify the two denominators. So what will be the new denominator? We said that it's the second one. So 71 plus 71. Sorry, 72. 72 divided by
How we get-
18.
How we
Equal
get the 72?
We said that we have to unify the two denominators. Use
24.
always the second one, okay? So now 72 divided by 18 equal 4 times a -6 means a -24. And the second number 72 divided by 72, it's 1 times 3, so 3. So now the number will equal -21/72. Can we simplify it? Of course, we can divide it by 3. So it will equal -21 divided by 3 equal -7. And 72 divided by 3 equal 24. That's it. So that was the solution steps of this question. The next question. Find the rational number lies at 1/5 of the way between 2/5 and 4/7 from the side of the greater. 1/5 means 1/5, of course. So the rule, we will use 1/5 this time, times absolute value of the distance. Here it's mentioned in the question to get it from the side of the greater. First, unify the two denominators. 2/5, 4/7. The two denominators will be 35. which is 5 times 7. Now, get the two numerators. 2 times 7, it's 14. 5 times 4, it's 20. Which one is the greater? This one. So greater minus 1 over 5, absolute value of the distance. So the greater is 20 over 35 minus 1 over 5. Absolute value of the distance means 20 over 35 minus 14 over 35. So it will equal 20 over 35 minus 1 over 5 times 6 over 35. So it will equal 20 over 35 minus 1 times 6 means 6 over 5 times the 35, it's 175. Unify the denominators. Use the second one, 175. Okay, so the first denominator will be 175 minus the second one will be the same. Divide 175 by 35. It will equal 5 times 20, 100 minus 175 divided by 175 means 1 times 6 equals 6. So now the number will equal 100 minus 6. So I will continue here. The number will be 100 minus 6. So this means it's
Mr.
9.
Mr. Do we have to multiply 6, multiply 5?
Just 1 second. It will be 94, okay, over 175. So this will be the number. Okay, guys? Okay, so any questions?
No, thanks.
Okay, guys. Actually, that was lesson 5. Okay. Hopefully all of you understood this one.